Welcome back to the most complete VR multiplayer tutorial series on the internet. After learning how to synchronize data with network variable in the last episode, in this video we are going to learn about RPC or remote procedural call, which will let us call a function on the other player's game directly through the network. And to see them in action, we are going to build a fun high five mechanism where two players can give each other high five with the whole behavior synchronized through RPCs. But you guys know the deal by now. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one, the final episode of this series about adding voice chat with Vivox. And if you want to access the full source code of this project, but also get access to 2 exclusive tutorials, one on customizing the player's avatar and one on making a VR multiplayer zombie shooter game, join us on Patreon, the link is in the description. And of course, quick reminder that this series is made in partnership with Unity, with network transform, network variables, and now RPCs. We will have covered all the main tools of netcode for GameObject, which means that after this episode, you will be able to synchronize pretty much anything you want with multiplayer for your own game. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we are back in Unity and my goal here will be to show you how RPC can work. And to demonstrate what they can actually do, we are going to build a super cool high five system to let two players spawn high five particles when their hands touch. And as you can see, if I go on my project folder, I have here my high five particles that we can drag over there maybe, and that we can see in action. Now, if you want to save some time, you guys will be able to download the Unity package containing this particle effect directly under the description of this video. But anyway, now let me select the i5 particle, press on delete, and let's get started with the i5 RPC system. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is go to prefab and select our network player. This is the network avatar that is getting spawned when we connect to a session. And what I want to do is go under the left hand and the right hand, select them both. And because high five require collision, we are going to add a rigid body. But we don't want any force to apply to this rigid body, so let's set it to iskinematic equals true. And for the collider, I'm going to add a sphere collider, set it to istrigger. It is way too big, so let's maybe reduce its value. And I think probably a value of 0.06 would be nice. So let's save now. And let's click on add component and add a new script, which will be called high five detector. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Now let's go at the top and let's try using Unity netcode. And as always, when dealing with a network behavior, let's instead of mono behavior write network behavior. Now my goal inside the script will be to detect if two players are doing an high five. So how can we actually do this? Let's first remove the start and the update function. And because we have a trigger collider, we can use the onTriggerEnter function, which is automatically called when a collision happens with this collider. Now, within the onTriggerEnter, we just want to check that we are the owner. So if we are not the owner, we can return. But then we want to only check the collision with the other hands, so with another high five detector. So let's do if not other.try get component out i5 detector other hand. And if the collider that we are colliding with doesn't has a high five detector, we can simply return. Now here is a nice thing to also check, because we also want to make sure that the other end that owner client ID is not equals to this owner client ID. And can you guess, guys, what this actually does? It's basically making sure that we are not clapping our hands and that we can only create high five with others' avatar that are getting spawned. And of course, it's the case that the player is clapping his own hand and not another avatar, we want to return. And there you have it. In this case, we can detect a high five with another player. And this is where the magic of RPC happens, because now that we can detect a high five with another player, we want to spawn and place some particles. But how can we spawn the particle to all of the players? And thanks to RPC, this is exactly what's possible. So first, let's write a private void play high five effect RPC. There we go. And what we can do is actually create a reference to the effect with public GameObject high five particle prefab. There you go. And now inside this function, we can do GameObject effect equals instantiate high five particle prefab. And then we can even destroy this effect after, let's say, 2 seconds. Okay, so this is a function, and as you guys can see, it ends by RPC, and what you actually need to do is write at the very beginning RPC. And the good thing with RPC is that it is here that you can say who you want to play this function to. Who needs to play this function? Now, as you can see with the send to, you can define if you want to send it to the owner, to me, the server, not the owner, not me. But in our case, we are going to send it to everyone. And there you go, as simple as this. We simply now need to do play high five effect RPC. And this will make sure to call this function to everyone. That's awesome. But what's even better with RPC is that you can also pass some information within the RPC. In our case, what we are going to do is actually get the collision position with contact point equals transform.position plus other.transform.position, and let's divide this by 2 to get the mean position in the collision. And then we can simply here change this function to take as a parameter a vector3 call position and do play i5 effect RPC with the contact point that we just computed. And beautiful. And now when we spawn the effect, we can simply use the position with maybe a quaternion.identity rotation. Awesome. Okay, we are almost done. Now we can detect the collision and play a high five effect to all of the players. But there is some issue in the detection. The first thing is that 2 players can detect at the same time the high five, of course, because this is something that happens between 2 players. So a nice trick that you can do is actually to check that only one player plays the event with if owner client ID is greater than other hand.owner client ID we return. With this simple line of code, it is basically a very nice trick to make sure that when something occurs at the same time with 2 players, well, it only happens once because we will only continue with the player that has a higher owner client ID. Okay, and another thing that I want to try is, well, we don't want the on trigger enter to always happen. We maybe want to have a cooldown. So what I'm going to do is simply have here at the stop public float call down equals to 1, a private float called last high 5 time, and here after getting the contact point, what we can do is last high 5 equals time.time, and just here at the top make sure that the time difference with last high 5 time, if it's lower than cooldown, then we return. This will make sure that we cannot high 5 like 10 times per second. Okay, here we go. I think that we are good with that. We should be able to play the effect, but now we can simply save, go back to Unity. There you go. Make sure to select both the left hand and the right hand. And for the i5 particle prefab, we can simply drag it over there. Where is it? It's here, the i5 particles. We can drag it here. And now let's save, go back to the scene, and let's click on play to find out if this works. Okay, and now is the moment of truth. Let's see if we can do a high five if our hands collide. 1, 2, 3. There you go. As you can see, it works. We can do some high five. And as you guys can see, the particle plays for both of our players. That's awesome. Now we can also do that with the other hand probably. And here, as you can see, we even have a double high five. That's awesome. But yeah, so this is a great example at how you can actually use RPC target to send a custom behavior to one of the players, but you can get super creative with it. Now we use RPC to send an information to everyone here, but as I was telling you earlier, you can actually target a certain player. For example, here I think a nice exercise for you guys is to actually make that this effect only plays for the 2 players that are doing the high five. But I will leave that as a homework for you guys. And now I'm going to show you something a bit different with RPC. Because here the big question is, what if on top of using a play i5 effect, we had to count the number of i5 that the player are doing? So let me show you a quick example at this. Here I'm going to right click on the start scene, create empty, and call this one i5 counter. Beautiful. We can reset its position and create a script of the same name, i5 counter. Okay, here is our script, and let me actually go back to Unity 1 second, because the goal of this i5 counter is to update a text with the current number of i5 in the session, but of course it needs to have a network object. Now, as we saw previously with this cube, when an object has a network object in the scene, it gets owned by default by the first person joining the session, which is the session creator most of the time. So by default, the person that owns here this i5 counter will be the server or the session owner. And we can directly default this behavior. If you go to ownership, we can set it here to session owner. Now in the i5 counter, let's actually create a network variable that will count the number of i5. It will be a private network variable of type int. Oh, we actually needed to add using unity.netcode at the top to have the network variable. And let's call it i5 count. And we can initialize the network variable with a new network variable int. Now, if you guys remember the last episode, we can initialize the first value here and add also the read permission as well as the write permission. But if we leave it by default, it will be, in the case of an int, 0. For the read permission, it will be everyone. And for the write permission, it will be the server, which in our case is the same as the owner of this network game object, as I was telling you. So we can leave it like this. And now I'm going to remove the update function and add a private void update text, which will take as a parameter a int count. And at the very beginning, we can write using tmpro and get a public reference to a text mesh pro UGUI called tmp. And using this text mesh pro, we can display the number of i5 with tmp.text equals count.toString. Okay, here you go, we are almost done. Now you know the deal by now. When dealing with network variable, what we can do is actually update this value when the network spawn and make sure that we subscribe to onValueChange. To do so, we need to write at the top network behavior and we need to override on network spawn and do update text with the i5 count.value. And finally, subscribe to any modification of this i5 count value with i5 count.onValueChange plus equals. And here we can actually create a new private void on count change with a prev value and a new value. And we can simply call update text with the new value this way and make sure that onCountChange is called when we are changing the value of i5 count. Okay, beautiful. Now we can, as always, call override on network despawn and simply unsubscribe from the onValueChange with a minus over there. And we are done with our i5 count script. Okay. With this awesome script, we do have like a i5 count value, which will count the number of i5 and which should display it on the text. By the way, if we save, go back to Unity, let's actually go on the connection canvas and I'm going to right click, go to UI canvas, text mesh pro. We can put this text at the very top and write i5, everything in bold. And then I think I'm going to select the text, duplicate it and put it this time on the right side. Then I'm going to write 0 over there and make sure that the text alignment is on the right. There we go. We can rename the first text i5 title and the second one i5 count. Beautiful. And now what's left is to go in the i5 counter and drag the i5 count over there on the i5 counter. Okay, everything is good. We have our script, we have our text, and we can display the number of i5, but one thing is missing, and it is of course to update this i5 count. But how can we actually do this? Now the tricky part is that the i5 counter has a network object that has as an owner the session owner. So in other words, if we quickly create a singleton of our i5 counter by doing public static i5 counter instance, and that not on start but on awake we do instance equals this to create a singleton, and that we do i5 count dot value plus plus, and if we go back to i5 detector and that we do i5 counter dot instance dot increase count, it will not work. That's right, this thing will not work because this increase count will only works when it is the session owner that calls it. So let me actually demonstrate this to you. Okay, so I have here a session with 3 players. Let me select it and let me click on play. And here you go. Now I have 3 players connected to the game. And if we try to i5 over there with the green player, it doesn't work. But if we try to do the same with the brown player, there you go. As you can see, this time it works. The number of i5 increment. So why is it working with the brown one and not with the green one? It's pretty simple. We simply need to go on the brown one, and as you guys can see, if here we select the i5 counter, we can see that we are indeed the owner of this i5 counter. And this is why incrementing the number, the network variable from this player perspective works, but not for the others. So how can we actually fix this problem and make sure that the i5 counter works for everybody? And of course, this is where RPC can do wonder, because you guessed it, if we go now back to our i5 detector, we could before call a RPC to everybody, but now we can actually call a RPC directly to the session owner. So just to give you an example, I'm going to write private void request i5 increment RPC. And here what we can do is simply take our little function and paste it back over there. And now if we write RPC send to dot server, there you go, we have created a RPC that can be called to the server, and now we can call it directly over there by doing request i5 increment RPC. And this way, when we detect a i5, we are calling a RPC to play the particle effect to everybody, and we are requesting a RPC to the server to update the counter. Now let's save and see if this works. And there you go, guys. You now know how to use RPCs, and all players can now give each other a high five. Now the best part is you can use this exact same logic to synchronize any interaction you want in your own game. Now thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one, the final episode of this series, where we are going to add positional voice chat using Unity's Vivox. You can access the source code of this project on my Patreon, and also get access to not 1 but 2 exclusive tutorials, one about customizing the avatar look and a second one about creating a full multiplayer zombie shooter game based on what we did here. And once again, a big shout out to Unity for sponsoring this series. Now thanks for watching and see you soon, bye bye!